2, 3, and.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Real Talk, Real Change. I am Judy Bradley, your host, as most of you should know. And basically, Real Talk, Real Change. I'm just gonna give you a little brief information as far as what Real Talk, Real Change is all about. And this is a place for honest conversation about real life, real faith, and real growth. We're not here to perform, no sir, pretend or polish the pain. We're here to tell the truth, do the work, and trust God. That's what it's all about. Trust God in the process, y'all. Trusting Him in the process. Because truth meets grace, real change begins. When truth meets grace, real change begins. So we're going to get started. And let me tell you, I am so excited because this young man that I have next to me, this young man, not only just my special guest, this is my nephew, Otis Brown. And this one right here, y'all, it really means a lot to me because I am actually here. Normally, I'm doing it live on Facebook, but I had the chance to be here.
Yes, we are live.
Yes, I had the chance to be here to hang out with my nephew for some time. So, why not do it live in person? So, I am going to let my nephew introduce himself as well. And then we're going to get started because he has a few things that he wants to talk about. And he's going to be talking about personal development and alignment. That's one thing he's going to be talking about. He's also going to be talking about staying the course. Staying the course. Y'all know y'all need to stay the course. And another thing he's going to talk about is pushing back the enemy. Pushing back the enemy. Once he's finished with all of that, he's then going to just give you, his testimony and his growth. So, without further ado, I'm going to let him introduce himself to you all.
Yes, no, appreciate it. What's going on? How you guys doing? My name is Otis Brown. It's a pleasure to be here on this platform. Yes. Real talk, real change. Let's make it happen. Auntie, I gotta say I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I don't really do too much of this podcast stuff. I kind of been quiet off social media for the last 3 years, and you guys are here a little bit more tonight. But I got to tell you, it's a pleasure and opportunity to be here. I'm so glad what God's doing right here with you on this platform. So let's make it happen. Let's get started. Let's get started.
And I give him all the glory.
Yes,
all the glory.
Amen. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask you is, since you're talking about personal development and alignment.
Yes, yep.
So what does alignment mean to you today, and how has that definition changed over the years?
Great. That's great stuff. Well, alignment can mean a lot of different things, right? Mm-hmm. We think about alignment, getting our cars done, right? That's another thing. Aligning, making sure things are just straight, right? Obviously, there's something that needs to be done, a tweak, a tune, a focus on something to make sure that you're in the right direction, right? Or things are tuned up to get to the right path, right? So specifically for myself, what I look at as alignment really is just being aligned with God, right?
Exactly.
I hate to kind of push that in there early, right? I know some people is like, hey man, I ain't trying to hear all that God talk, let's be real practical.
Real talk, though,
but I mean,
real.
It's the reality.
Exactly.
I can only speak on, myself, you know what I mean? Real talk on the things that God's blessed me and the things that, where I'm at right now today. And so, alignment means alignment with making sure that the things and the actions that I'm doing align with His Word, right? Alignment on the practical sense can also mean just making sure that you're personal developed, right? Making sure you're just on the right path, man. Making sure you're doing the things that you need to do every morning to stay on point, for the day.
Exactly. So how do you recognize when you're out of alignment spiritually, emotionally, or mentally?
Whew, that's great. That's great. That's great. She went through some of these questions with me before we got in here. I gotta be honest with y'all, but I ain't expecting to get too deep like this, right? But from the top, I mean, a lot of times, in the practical, when things are going off in the life, right? I always look at sometimes real talk, real change, right? When finances are not adding up, right? Things ain't looking good on that end. When you go out and you feel like, why is it a rainy day all the time, right? Why this day feels like this? Why, those are signs, right? Those are things to realize, like, hey, hold on, something may be off course, right? Something may be off that I may have to go. I got to go to the auto shop, right, to figure out what's going on, why I'm not driving straight. Right. My auto shop is God. You know what I mean? I sit down and making sure that I create that space, right, and really examine myself. Look in the mirror and see what's going on. So spiritually. Spiritually, I mean, that's pretty deep, right?
Yeah, because I think you know within. Deep. You know what I'm saying? You know within. It's like when you're off. Yeah. Not aligned. When you're off. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for me, I know when I'm off. Yeah. I know when I'm not aligned.
That's great.
I know when I'm not, and then it's like, okay, you got to get it back. You got to get back together. You got to bring it on in, because I'm gonna need you to get back in line yourself up. Facts. Because I know when I am, and I know, like I said, how do you recognize it? When I know emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, because it will play with your mind for real. Yes. It would definitely play with your mind. Yes. And spiritually, I mean, it would have you thinking like, where God at? Like, is he around? But you know it. But then, like I said, even with some of the stuff that I've gone through, I had to reel it back in. I had to reel it back in because I knew, Joe, you was way off. I was off.
Yeah. No, for a fact.
I was off.
For a fact. It's kind of like you ever... obviously many of us got these fitness goals, right? And fitness journeys, should I say, right? They're journeys. They're definitely journeys. Right. And, you start off on a great path. You're going to the gym every day. Or maybe if you're riding a bike and want to start, just on a healthy tip, right? You go a couple days without doing that and try to get back on it, right? You feel a little different, right? You even go some days without even getting on it. You feel like, hold on, something's off. Something's off, right? So I feel like we all, as humans, got that intuition, man. Even if it's not on a super spiritual level, but it's definitely practical. Whenever we're feeling down, that's or emotionally, mentally, that should be a sign, right? Where you realize that, hey, I'm out of line. I need to change some things. I need to change a routine. I need to eat right. I need to wake up early, get some more rest, right?
So what daily practices help you stay grounded and aligned with God's will?
That's great. Yes. Routine. I've always, a little bit about kind of, my background and history. I got amazing parents that love the Lord, that pray, that kept me in church on a foundation standpoint. Right. So they encouraged me to go to school, get the good grades, graduate, but I've always, even organizations and businesses that I was blessed to join and be a part of and start at an early age, they always promoted structure, right? Routine breeds success. So, practical on another end. I mean, you're going to keep hearing me saying practical and spiritual, right? To kind of break it down so you understand, like, all right, not taking God out of everything, but just keeping it real, right? Just practical, like, you got to start your day off on a good note. You know what I mean? You got to, get up early, work out, stretch, right? Drink some water, right? Hydrate. And there's certain little things that you do to breed the success, right, and the results that you want. So, spiritually, what daily practices I do to make sure that I have a successful relationship, right, or success in my spiritual life, is waking up. First thing is praying.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's it.
It's
right there.
tough, man. I gotta be honest. It's tough.
I'm with you though.
Yeah,
it is. Because some mornings I be like, okay, but you know what? I cannot though. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about me is when I get up in the morning, before I even put my feet on the ground, my floor, I'll be like, Lord, thank you for another day, because this is the day that you made.
That's great.
And I rejoice and be glad in it. And then, get up for a minute and come back, and then that's when I just start praying and my devotion. So for me, I feel like it's needed in order for your day to be a good day. Yeah. Because if you don't, because some mornings, I'm not gonna say I forget, because I don't forget. But some mornings when you feel like, okay, let me do this real quick, and then I'll come back to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you forget to come back, and then you see how your day turned.
Right. You
for
know,
me,
facts. You know how if something happens, you get an injury or you get a medical diagnosis or something, the doctor prescribes medication for you to take, right? And they give you, hey, you got to take this.
You got to take this
every day or a certain amount. You know what I mean? Right. Daily dose. That's what I look like. That's what I look at it as.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
You know what I mean? It's like he's my doctor. This is my prescription. Okay. You know what I mean? In order for me to feel good, right, and trust what the doctor said to heal, right, or get to where I need to be, I need to make sure I'm taking my medicine.
That's it. Right? He is that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's facts.
That's good.
Yeah. And the one a day, you think about the vitamins, right? You take the vitamins in one a day, and you gotta take the vitamins every day. That's the vitamin you need.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I know I need it. Yeah. I know I need it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't, because I do.
But real talk, let's talk about the distractions, right? That kind of prevents that routine. Real quick, I don't want to go too far off, right? But then the distractions is these phones, man.
My goodness.
These little things right here, man. I mean, it's easy to kind of wake up and start scrolling.
Exactly.
Who texted you?
Facebook.
Who called you? Like you got calls in the middle of the night.
No, they don't.
Far from that life. You know what I mean? Like you got calls, you ain't got no calls, man. You ain't got no texts and stuff, And
that's something I've learned not to do. I don't do it. I just leave my phone right there. Now, but I do do a lot of my studying from my phone.
That's good.
But as far as going through Facebook message, I don't do that until like way later on in the morning.
That's good. Well, one little trick that I did too as well, because I know a lot of times for us as millennials and young individuals, and even everybody, really,
right?
We sleep with our phones by us, right? And we want to. It's easy to get up and use that phone as going into your Bible,
right?
But there's a lot of distractions.
Right. While you trying to go up in there,
I got something that I watch on YouTube every morning. You know what I mean? So I got a smart TV. When I wake up, I'm quick to turn on the smart TV, YouTube, not even think about the phone.
Not even.
And get the scripture in, you know what I mean? That way, the prayer and kind of start and activate it. Keep the phone in a whole nother room, right? Sometimes people use it for alarm clocks. Yeah. Right? But sometimes, you got to put it in a whole nother room.
Right.
And just be conscious, right? Okay, if I got to get up and go get there, then I can get up and pray before I get to... Hello?
Come on now, that's a fact. Like you said, that's a fact.
Yeah,
that is a fact.
Those are little things that I just kind of you gotta just stay on yourself about.
You do, and sometimes we feel like, and I don't want to look at it as a routine. It's something that you need to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, just like we get up and go to work.
Facts.
You can get up and have a prayer time or whatever. And y'all listen, I'm just telling y'all, this is real talk, real change. So I'm just telling y'all what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what works for me. But, you know what I'm saying? And what technically you need to do too.
Yeah, facts. And I'll just leave it like this on this note, because I know we're probably getting ready to transition a little bit. It really just falls along the idea of like personal development.
Exactly.
Right? Personal development and spiritual development. Personal development is on the practical end, right? Spiritual development, it's the same difference, right? But I coined this term working with the great company that I was blessed to start a business with in 2016, right? This is years ago. Was a sophomore in college and gotten a few things legally, right, that almost kind of jeopardized, my situation that I had at the moment, and was blessed to meet an individual through some alignment, right, that I had to do, right? What happened was I got caught up, and you know how we make those prayers, like, hold on, Lord, forgive me. I ain't gonna do this again. More, right? No more. I ain't gonna do this no more.
This it.
And I remember how deep it was because my parents pulled up. You know what I mean? Like, we thinking we gonna go to court. There's a lot of different stuff that's about to happen. And, I was just praying. Lord, just take this off the plate, the Lord. Like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, forgive me, right? I was sweating blood, boy. I was like, Lord, take this away. Take this cup. But, long story short, that situation kind of panned out, right? And the individual, what happened was I had went back on my winter break, and I personally developed my LinkedIn account, right? So I spent some time on that at the time. This was way before LinkedIn was on the scene.
Yeah, because this show on the scene.
Yeah, it's on the scene now. But my profile went from like beginner to like all-star in like a night. Like updating pictures and work history and all this stuff. And I say that because it opened up some opportunities for individuals to look at my platform and my page and reach out to me, right, on a business standpoint. Hey, listen, I got a business opportunity you may be interested in. Hey, I got a job, right, as soon as you graduate, right? So things like that. And so I was blessed to meet an individual on that end, and he showed me something where I was like, yo, I could have used it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I needed that.
Right.
And then I was like, you know what? I need to share this with my family and my friends, right? And long story short, it blessed me to be a stay-at-home college student, selling the membership and working on that end. But besides the business standpoint, right, and making money with the company, it was a lot of growth. Right? There were mentors that I was blessed to, still to this day, right, have solid relationships with and meet with on a weekly standpoint about how to better yourself, right, as a human, how to better yourself once you make certain amount of income with your finances, certain investments you need to make. But we always were solid on this idea of personal development, right? Reading, watching a video, or listening, right? Like 3 to 5 minutes every day of something that is positive. Right. Something that may be in your field that you're studying that you maybe want to get better at, right? And that's it, right? Starting off your day with that. Right. And that's funny because I'll leave with this here and we transition, but Grandma, one day we were sitting at the house and we were looking outside at the back deck, and I'm not sure, was it my little brother that was mad at some things or somebody was mad, right? And she was giving a little parable. And she was like, get them parables, right? Parables. And she was like, you look at how the duck, when it flies into the pond, right? Watch how the oil, right? Watch how the water flows off its back soon as it leaves the water, right? And I'm like, Grandma, be like, what? I know science. Right. They got oil-based feathers for that reason, right? But you start to think about that, right? For a reason. She's like, when those little things irritate you, right, you gotta just let it flow off your back. Let it flow. Right? You gotta let it flow off. And sometimes we gotta equip ourselves with that oil base. Right? Equip our skins with that oil base. And that's the personal development. I think about basketball players too in sports, right? They practice their technique and a lot of things that they can do, but at the end of the day, they got to get in that gym. They got to and work those muscles to be able to handle the combat of the gameplay. Absolutely. And so I was like, yo, how do we strengthen our brains to be able to handle the combat of life? Every day. And that's personal development. Right? Starting off the day on the right note.
That's it.
You're strengthening your mind. You're working out your muscles to be able to handle whatever the day may bring. Whatever it brings. And so that's pretty much it.
Bring some stuff.
Yeah, so you gotta. It's important to stay personal developed every day.
Okay, so we just gonna. I'm just gonna go over to the stay in the course. So have you ever felt tempted to quit something God told you to start? What kept you going? My God, I know I have.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Yes, sir.
What I'll answer that from backwards. What kept me going is the word.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm gonna just give you straightforward.
Right.
I mean, Philippians 1:6. Be confident.
Yes.
Of this very much thing. You know what I mean? That He has begun a good work in you will complete it.
Yes,
until the day of Jesus Christ. So just understanding those promises exist. They're for me.
Right.
Right. And no matter what I may go through, I gotta be confident.
Yeah, you gotta be confident.
You know what I mean? In this very thing,
But everybody's not confident though.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't have that confidence.
That's
like
true.
You do.
Yeah, no, that is very
true.
That is
so
very
it's
true.
kind of so a person who don't have confidence, it's like, so what do they do?
That's great. That's great. And so a person that does have confidence, that's great. That's a good point. I love how you brought that up, right? Because you're right. Sometimes we take for granted our
exactly.
They're not our superpowers, but they're just us and our character, our personality.
Right.
But Jim Rohn, I believe it was Jim Rohn, said this, right? It's not about the storm, right, that comes, right, that knocks your boat off course, but it's the setting of your sail.
Wow.
So when that storm does come, you can set your sail
for
that wind to hit it the right way to propel you to wherever it may, you know what I mean, in the direction you need to get to. So sometimes I just encourage individuals to just be prepared.
Yeah, be prepared.
Right? Be personal developed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just stay solid.
Yeah.
Just stay the course. You know what I mean? Stay the course with staying in your word, right?
Yeah.
Spiritually.
Yeah.
If that's not something that you're introduced to, or you're just now developing a relationship with Christ and you're just starting off, then you know what I mean, just starting off just really personal development. Yeah. Listening to some great positive stuff every day. You need the positivity.
Because confidence it's huge, because for me, and this is something the Lord told me this a long time ago as far as doing something like this. But I was just like, I'm not getting on there talking to nobody. I'm like, that is not even me. I'm like, I used to sit there and watch people like, how you gonna get on there and I just couldn't do it, because me, I'm personal. And I don't share a lot of my stuff on Facebook. I just don't. Right. And I didn't, because I was like, it ain't nobody's business. But when I went through what I've gone through, when I was diagnosed with cancer and all of that, when I was diagnosed and everything, and then going through it, it's when the Lord was just like, now you need to let people know what I did for you.
That's good. That's great.
Because He healed me. So I need to let people know, although I went through what I went through, He's still a healer. And I was just like, He was like, so you need to, and I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. But then He was, no, it was no question. Right. I continue to do what I need to do for you. You need to do what I need you to do.
That's great.
And that's why I started doing this.
Yeah.
And then I was able to, I have reached out to so many I have been an advocate.
Yeah, that's great.
You know what I'm saying? To be able to talk to other women, even some men that are going.
Yep.
Because it's not just women that be diagnosed, men too. So for me, that gave me the confidence. Once I saw how, I knew, for me, I always had faith. I always trusted God. But this right here, when I was diagnosed, this brought me to a whole nother level. And I had to let people know what I've gone through.
That's good.
And I'm going to get on here. I'm gonna have, when I do one of my shows, where it's just gonna be me, and I'm just gonna go from the beginning to the end of how it all started.
That's great.
So having confidence, that's huge.
That's great.
That's huge.
That's great. That's great.
Even some mornings when I don't feel like going on there, I'll be like, no, I know what you said. No, now let me go on. Even if I'm getting on to say good morning, God is good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But people need to know.
That's
people
good.
Need to know.
That's good. And that's amazing, Auntie. That's so amazing. And one of some things that was caught back in there for me was, I'm hearing, like, obviously you were in tune to following your purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, or a purpose that was kind of given to you to make sure that you may move forward. And then another thing is just showing up.
Showing up, that's it.
Sometimes you just gotta hit the screen and go live. You know what I mean? And
I'm telling you,
or just
that's it.
just show up.
And that's what I do. I show up. Listen, y'all, I'm on TikTok, Facebook. I do it all because people need to know. People just need to know.
Yeah, facts. And it's been a minute. Like I said, I've been on social media because for it's not nothing intentional.
Yeah, but
it's
okay though. I mean,
it's been some years, but I'm like, hey, you know what? It's big 30 now. You know what I mean? It's grown old. You know what I mean? So it's people trying to. He's 27 from now. Yeah, it's been different.
Yeah. Oh,
you know
most definitely.
I mean?
Most definitely.
Those have been a solid 3 years. You know what I mean? Of really wrestling with the Lord. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I know, because I remember I asked you before. I said, yo, Wesley, I'm Wesley, sorry. I'm like, Otis, I need you to do a live with me. He was like, nah, auntie, I ain't ready yet. Y'all, he wasn't ready. And I respect that. And now, when I came to you, when I text you, we talked, I was like, okay, you got to be ready by now.
That's accountability. You're like, how much long is it going to take? Facts. You're right.
You got to be ready. When you said you was ready, I was like, that's it. I'm about to come there. Yeah. I'm coming to New York because we about to do this live together.
Yes. And we are here. I love it, man.
Yeah, I do
Good
too.
stuff.
I'm just so grateful.
Yes.
So, okay, so let's see. Let me go right here. So, did I do that right? So how do you balance patience with action, waiting on God, but still moving forward? Ooh. Patience. How do you balance patience with... that right there. How do you balance patience with action?
You know what's so funny? It's like...
waiting on God.
You know what? Waiting on God sometimes, I think you just take the patience thing. Just take it out.
Take it out.
Just expect to wait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wait.
Just wait. Just wait on them.
Just wait.
Yeah.
And in the midst of waiting, it's like I don't know. I think it was like maybe Steve Harvey or something, and then it was just about being grateful.
Right.
Just having gratitude.
Being grateful.
You know what I mean? You just got to be grateful. I'll tell you what too as well. Thank you, Lord. Serving. Serving, yeah, I believe that. Serving, you know what I mean? It's a sacrifice. You know, sometimes you don't know how you're gonna even get there to serve. Right. You know, but you just that's that really unveiling yourself. Right. And you know, when we sing, I give myself away. Right. So you can use me. You know what I mean?
Okay,
hold on.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, now hold on. Yeah, guys. We start worshiping here, boy. Okay. But yeah, when we give ourselves away, right? It's like, what does that really mean? Right. Are you right? You know, what does that really mean? You know, we talk about the tiredness, right? And it's like
exactly.
I packed the schedule out. You know what I mean? At this point in time, I mean, they say idle mind is a devil's workplace. Right. I mean, but shoot, you go a couple days without doing nothing, you in some type of hell. Right. You start thinking some things. You start facts. So you just wanna always make sure that you're good busy, positive busy, right? But I just unveil myself, man. I sacrifice, I volunteer, every first and third, doing certain things.
You keep yourself busy.
I just keep myself poured out. Poured out. I want to be fully poured out. Right? So when the Lord does fill me up, he can just keep filling.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Awesome. So I run over. So, and shoot. I say that now, right? And it's on my mind, it's on the heart, but I don't know what that may be. Right. You know what I mean? Right. But that's the waiting.
That's the waiting. I'm telling you,
that's
waiting.
The waiting.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's how I balance the waiting part out.
And I look at the waiting, for me, just waiting. It's like, it's just preparation. He's just preparing me.
That's a fact.
He's just preparing me and want to make sure that I will be able to receive what he has at the time. Right. You know what I'm saying? It might not be time for what I want, until he sees.
Come on now.
This is okay. She got it. See, I can let her have a little bit of this right now because she got it. But you got it.
Nah, Lord knows what I'm looking at. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But it wasn't. Hey, 3 years ago was different.
Right.
A year ago, shoot. A year ago was different.
Right.
You know what I mean? I almost said months. Right? Nah, but
You know
for real though, stay in the course.
You gotta stay
in the course.
Right,
you know what I mean? Because it's, none of us got to this holy space.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
It's an everyday battle.
It's an everyday
battle. But the hope, right, is knowing that the victory's already won.
Already.
We're fighting from victory and not to victory.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So
that's good.
That's the balance. That's the balance in the way.
So what do you believe? So what lies do you believe people often believe when they're in the middle of the process? Because the enemy always telling us something that it ain't gonna happen. I don't know why you waiting. Those ain't nothing but lies.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's lies that people often believe. We often believe. Because sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I feel like okay, and I know it's the enemy. Because I know what God promised me. I know His promises are yes and amen.
That's a fact.
So I know what He promised me, but yet the enemy will still have you thinking, "Oh no, that ain't gonna happen. I don't know what you waiting for.
Yeah,
you ain't going back to work.
No, not facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts. No,
the
that's very true.
He gonna lie and have you thinking all type of stuff.
Yeah, facts. No, we
crazy.
That's lit. That's man, there's so many different things. I mean, everybody depends on how your life's set up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things the enemy will use.
Yep, it is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
So that's why it's important to keep your life clean too.
Keep it clean.
Because I look at condemnation as being one of his craziest tools.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Of where it's like the feeling of unworthiness,
right?
Because you did something. You know what I mean? No, God's grace don't give us a license
to keep doing,
to keep being in the carnality.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But nothing can separate us from His love.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
so
right.
it's we just got to be conscious of those things, man. But yeah, no, you're not good enough. That ain't gonna never happen for you. I don't even know why you wasting your time. See what I'm saying? You waiting, you're going to keep waiting.
You're going to keep on waiting, yeah.
The
devil is a lie. Right.
In the midst of those lies, what we can get caught up in is believing them and falling victim to going back to the lifestyles that we was living.
Right.
Or
so
doing
true.
the things doing the things that, is really not, is really true. Keeping us unaligned.
Right. Yes, that's good.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's really keeping us unaligned. We hit those potholes. Boom, boom.
Right.
Our ride's not driving right anymore.
Like it's supposed to. Right.
You know what I mean? Gotta go back to the shop, man. You gotta get aligned.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, we don't believe those lies, man. We got hope in the Lord. We got hope in His Word.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Another thing too is the activation of this word, right?
Activation, yes.
Like I look at it, like we was talking about being confident, right? And this very thing, that He's beginning to go work, right? And a lot of different scriptures, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I stand on that.
Yeah, you have.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like I be like, Lord, your word not a lie.
Definitely, He's not a man that He should lie. No, the Son of Man that He should repent.
You see what I'm saying?
What?
So your word says, my beloved, always beloved now. So you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm letting them know what's going on. Your word says, those who wait on you.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You shall renew their strength.
Absolutely.
You should mount up on wings like eagles.
That's it.
You should run and not go faint. Right. So it's like, you just gotta stand on the word, man.
And you gotta know it. You gotta know it. You gotta know it. And I always say, even when I do some of my videos, if you don't have a relationship with the Lord, you need to get one, because none of this will mean anything to you.
Yeah.
If you ain't got a relationship with Him. You know what I'm saying? You just hearing what we talking about, and it's like it don't mean nothing unless you have a personal relationship.
That's so funny you say that. I heard this from an individual today, and they were like, they seen a TikTok or whatever, and we've been having conversations with him and his brother, and he was like, yeah, I seen this TikTok, and it was like, we're fighting, right? Imagine going to war, right, and then dying for nothing. It's like if you're gonna go to war, at least go to war for a cause, right?
Right.
And that's where we started relating it back to, you know what I mean? The relationship with Christ.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna live a life, don't live just to die.
Right.
You know what I mean? Live with a purpose.
With a purpose.
You know what I mean? There's a purpose in this life. And then we start talking about eternity, right?
Right.
Like, someone also said this is gonna be like this is the shortest life we live. You know what I mean? This is the shortest life we're going to live. However long we 80, 90, however long it is.
Exactly.
That's going to be the shortest life we live because, you know, when we go to eternity, that's eternity.
That's eternity. That's it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, you got to know that word for yourself and walk by the Spirit, which is huge.
Yeah, you definitely got to know it.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to pushing back the enemy.
I love it.
Pushing back the enemy.
I love it.
So, what does pushing back the enemy look like in everyday life, and not just church talk?
Yeah, not just church talk, everyday life. Yeah. That's what we talked about, that routine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Understanding that, listen, when I go out today, something bad may happen. My day may be off. Not something bad may happen, but something may be out there to throw my day off.
Right.
Should put it like that.
Right.
So, not just church talk. I mean, listen, you got to be in the right mindset
all the time.
You know,
you need to be.
Hopefully, you listen to the right song that morning that got you smiling happy. So when they try to cut you off, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna
keep going.
Keep going. You know what I mean? So that's
right. Exactly.
That's without the church talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, with the church talk, which is the real talk, you know, it's a spiritual battle that we're under. You know what I mean? We don't wrestle against flesh and blood.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
angels and principalities. So, number one, we got to realize that we're fighting a battle.
Right. Exactly.
I told this to one of my friends. You know how like sometimes we, you know, we do things, you know, unconsciously doing it, right? And we blame it on our characteristics, our personalities,
Exactly.
But when we do something, but when we study, the reason why we doing something like more like on some like psychology stuff, right? And we realize, oh, that's the reason why I be doing that, or my facial structures be like that. And then when we're faced with a situation and we do it again, and we know it why we're doing it, that makes it even powerful. That makes it even powerful. And so you gotta know. Don't go unconsciously out there and thinking like, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing's gonna, you know, happen, or I don't know, hey, listen, hey, I'm just going about their everyday life. No, you gotta go in intentional. Right. Consciously knowing that, you know, this is a spiritual battle, right, that I'm facing. I was about to say Minister Charles Taylor. I'm about to give him the promo.
You heard
the
it.
promo. About to give him the promo. But no, you know, my dad was blessed to give a sermon a couple weeks ago, right, about the cost of following Christ. And the things that, you know, a lot of times individuals, when they start this life, when we get saved, we raise our hand, we get saved. You know what I mean? We say, Lord, you are my Jesus Christ, my Lord and my Savior. Thank you for dying on the cross for my sins. You know, blue, right? We go in the back and we keep it moving. You gotta realize tomorrow is Monday. Hello, you gotta go to gotta go to work.
Right.
You gotta go start the week.
Right.
You know what I mean? And what's missing is sometimes that, you know, we're not equipped really about what's going to happen. You know, like only if you was brought in the back once you got saved, hey, listen, here's your word, here's your Bible. You just made the great choice you ever made. The angels up there are rejoicing right now. But listen, tomorrow's Monday. You're gonna be on. You thought this.
They really gonna be on your tail.
Now you better step it up.
Right.
But hey, listen, let me show you this right here in Ephesians and Colossians about equipping yourself with the armor of God.
I was gonna say that.
You know what I mean? Let me show you to avoid the arrows that the enemy may throw at you.
The breastplate, yes.
You know what I mean? The breastplate of righteousness, right? So, number one, identifying who your enemy is. That's Ephesians 6:12, right? We don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against authorities, against powers of the dark world, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms.
Absolutely.
That's his word.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's it. That's what he said.
A lot of times I think about, sometimes somebody gave this example, like, maybe obviously things happen for a reason. God had everything happen for a reason. But you think if Eve knew that that was the enemy she was talking to,
right,
things would have been a little bit different.
Right. That's true.
Right? So you got to identify and understand the enemy.
Exactly.
Right? That's number one. Right? That's number one. Also pushing back, I know, number one, obviously identifying, but number two, I'll always look at it as understanding what the enemy wants to do.
Right.
We're talking about it's a spiritual battle.
It's a spiritual,
right? Or it says the enemy's here to kill, steal, and destroy.
That's it. That's what he here to do.
You know what I mean? So, he may not kill you, you know what I mean? You may not feel destroyed, but when, you're losing certain things out your life that you used to have.
Right.
Right? And you wonder why you don't got them no more because you're in that spiritual warfare.
Yes, sir.
You indulged in those things that say you won't inherit the kingdom of God. You know what I mean? Get back in that mirror. That's why we got to get back in line.
That's a fact.
And stay the course.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? And stay the course. So understand what the enemy wants, right? The enemy doesn't just want us to have one bad thought, but a series of bad thoughts, right?
Of course.
Yeah, he wants us to be in that place and be in that, like you said, those lies, right? That keep us from that alignment or getting back into that presence that we need to be with God, that intimacy.
Right.
Yeah, so you got to ask yourself, what have you allowed the enemy to have territory over in your life?
Wow.
Is it your thoughts? Is it your actions? Right? So, I'm obviously I go through this all the time, right? So I'm solid when I say this, but I get so emotional when I think about these questions, and I keep myself reminded of every day because it's like my life's on the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My life's on the line.
Yeah.
My businesses. You know what I mean? That the Lord blessed me with. The star is on the line.
Right.
You know what I mean? The future success, right? And the inheritances and stuff that I look to leave behind. That's all on the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I don't choose to, make the right decisions, man, and draw a line in the sand. You know what I mean? That's the next point.
And that's good. That's good. We're gonna go right to I'm gonna go to, because pretty much you kind of hit.
I think.
So
I think the last thing what we was talking about, right, was understanding what the enemy wants, right?
Right.
And then we got to just draw a line in the sand.
Right.
Realize, like, hey, listen, you can't have no more territory over this.
That's it.
You know what I mean? This is a kingdom place.
That's
right? The righteousness of God.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? By faith in Jesus Christ. And then that's when we start to see the cycle start to break. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's when we start to, the promises that the Lord says when we wait. We start to feel that strength.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm tired. You know what I mean? But sometimes I feel tired, but I may not, my body get up and do the things. You know what I mean?
Regardless,
And it just be the supernatural strength, So we got to make declarations. Solid declarations.
Yes, we do. Yeah, I do. I have mine every day.
Because if the enemy penetrating your mind and throwing little things and little lies out there, well, hold on, enemy. Nah. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord.
Absolutely.
See what I'm saying? No. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in this world.
That's a fact.
So those are the things that kind of eliminate the fear. And then the last thing I just leave with before we transition is pushing back. Right?
Yes.
Right? We got to push back, man. It's a warfare. Like I said, we're fighting from victory to victory. Right? But we still gotta push back. We still gotta fight, And how do we push back? We push back with prayer.
That's it.
We push back with praise.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That praise
works. Changes things.
It sure do. Do.
Praise brings breakthrough.
Yes, it does. And I always say, instead of worrying, worship.
Yes.
Instead of worrying, worship, and that's what I do. When something come up and I start to think about it, like, okay, well, let me find a song, because I'm gonna need to start worshiping. Because
come on now.
Yeah, that's the best.
How do the walls of Jericho fall?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, so despite what's going on, you got to push back. You got to sing and declare victory over your life in Jesus' name.
That's it.
So yeah, that's pretty it. That's pretty much it. Right? Pushing back the enemy.
That's good. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna let you just share some of your testimony and growth, and then we could go from there. Your testimony and say your growth and what you got going on.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. You gave me that. I love it. Yeah. So once again, my name is Otis Brown here, as you guys heard in the beginning. I'm 30 years old right now. It's been a great life that the God's blessed me with, man. A little bit about myself here. I was blessed to, go to school, graduate Niagara University, Bachelor's of Business Marketing. I told you I got involved in a little different things growing up, right, over the time in the school period, but the main thing is just really alignment. Really just shaping myself to realize, like, hey, I want to be recognized as a business professional, right? I want to be a business owner, right? So I had to change my character, change certain things, the way I talk, the way I communicate. I had to surround myself around certain individuals. Graduated, and when I graduated, I actually put, and listen, this is crazy, right? Because you set me up, Auntie. Listen, this stuff individuals pay for, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this is stuff individuals pay for to hear. Not in saying that it's like it's worthy information, but no, the testimony and the jewels that we just wrapped around that, right, is value. And so, I say you set me up because I don't know too much anybody heard these stories. I keep it kind of brief what we got going on. A lot of individuals was through my life and they know what's going on, but once I graduated, I was stuck on the entrepreneur standpoint. Remember, this was 2017, so I'm like, listen, I'm gonna get to the bag, secure the bag. I ain't thinking about no job, 9 to 5. What? Listen, we gotta make it rich. What we do, and great mindset, great drive to have. I love the individuals that have that now. You see what I'm saying? But I had to realize, I spent some money on this degree. Yeah, I better put this on Indeed or put this in place, right? I gotta get an ROI. You know what I mean? So I did apply to a couple jobs and was blessed to get started with an amazing company in Rochester, which was great to me. And had some great years there. Was blessed to kind of start at an entry level position, and before I left was managerial, executive suite level. Great to meet some amazing individuals, right? Amazing place to showcase my skills, right? And so I learned a lot in the midst of that, and making great income, right? And then transition into the family business, right. We actually had a little medical scare that kind of, it always like God's timing. Right. COVID happened. Right. I'd be tripping like the time in the midst, right? Like that's my life. That was 2019, 20, 21, you know what I mean? So that's a part of the story, right? And so things started getting changed a little bit different, coming back to the office, the rules on, who can be here, but not, whatever. And so, I made a little transition and I went to the family business, right? And learning the business was amazing, right? Everything was fun. I love, the fact of realizing, listen, I'm probably the only one in the family that's with this, you know what I mean? And that's taking this and advancing this forward. But the income ain't looking to where it was used to. That's real talk, real change, right? That's it. That's what we on, right? That's okay. I'm just making sure, real talk, real change.
That's what it's all about.
So sometimes we there, right? And we look at it, but we just gotta be focused on what was our purpose.
What was our purpose? Yeah.
So did that for a couple years, and then I was like, you know what? I got to get back into corporate. Right. I want a family. I want a crib. I'd be out every, you know what I mean? Traveling every month, country out of the country every couple times a year. Yeah. So it's like, I got to get back to that lifestyle. That's what I want, right? And so I ended up stepping back into corporate. When I said that, I was like, you know what? When I step back into corporate, I'm going to, I'm hearing everybody working from home now. What's this all about, right? And that's why it's important to make sure you have your connections.
That's it.
The individuals that you grew up with, that maybe one of my best friends, who I was in college with at the time, had introduced me to this company, right, and the opportunity,
right,
and flew out and got started with them and had a great successful 3 years working from home.
Right, I remember.
Different transition, right, different discipline, but had a very successful sales career, and things was great, but we continued to transition, right, and I was always kind of foundationally like launching some things behind the scenes. My mom's like always used to be like, don't have your eggs all in one basket.
Right, yeah,
don't have your eggs all in one basket. So, shout out to her on that end. Little as she know, I always,
right,
you know what I mean? I'm here. I gotta keep the cash flow. Right. You know what I mean? But I was blessed to launch a lot of different things kind of in the early stages that I was playing with, right? And just seeing if I had the love for it. For example, my candle company, building some other things on the marketing, real estate. And so I transitioned out of the corporate with the work from home, and then I landed myself where I'm at now, back in, the family's business. Right. And, how that kind of panned out is, we actually was blessed to kind of win a contract. That, it was just perfect opportunity for me to kind of transition back in. So, that's where I'm at now. We haven't looked back, man. It's been up ever since, you know what I mean? And, we're working on some more expansion things, blessed to kind of, because I'm like asking God, like, man, how does all this work, Lord? Like, if I'm back working a 9 to 5 or working, on that book now, like, make it make sense for me, because, and it's like, it's amazing. That's why we're talking about, the faith in Him. I'll leave it like this. Like, Lord, how can I continue the lifestyle that I have? Right. The spot that I live in, cribs that I live in, you know what I mean? But not make nowhere near the income that I used to make. Right. Like this, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's nothing but God.
But I know it is.
It's nothing but God. You know what I mean? And so that's where we're blessed at now. Right now, we're kind of conclude that. So the last, I would say, in the midst, I would say this thing too, like a lot of the storms in my life that would happen in that past, in the midst of that journey was, me indulged in heavily smoking, heavy drinking, right, heavy lifestyle, that just really, is meaningless. Right. It's meaningless, and, accidents, crashing whips, you know what I mean? Like, so a lot of I would say about 50% of that time it was just tired, just out working. That's another thing, finding my identity in work, trying to outwork, work the day, not eat, not sleep, you know what I mean, through the day. I'm building a business at night and going to work today, but I'm not eating breakfast and not eating lunch. So you're not, you're not getting the fuel. And in the midst of all those experiences, I thought it was rock bottom. Every time. I'm like, Lord, dang, I never had to go through this with insurance companies and all this other stuff. And he's like, hold on, I got you. Swoop, swoop. You know what I mean? So I look at it today, and I just, just thank God for, everything He's brought me through. And we're just getting started. That's it. You know what I mean? We just getting started. So it's been a while since I've been off social media, but I'm coming back strong. You know what I mean? We got some international stuff going on in the next few days, in the next couple of weeks. Brown Candle Company is the name of my candles here. We're launching a series of about 7 different flavors. Here was some of the we rebranded the logos. Nice. So we're trying to keep a nice classic look. This is called Flower City. With the brown candle vase.
Yo, the candles, they smell really nice. I'm here to tell you, they smell really nice. And I'm not saying it just because he's my nephew, but I like candles. And I'm real funny when it comes to certain scents. But his scents smell really nice. Really nice.
That's a fact. Thank you. I appreciate that, Auntie. Yep, you already know. We put a lot of work into these. These are all hand poured, right? And Dog Eliminator. Now, we rebranded these 2 brands, right? Much more fancier logo look, right, on our launch and stuff, and we getting ready to launch here soon. But that's kind of what's in the midst, you know what I mean? What's going on in the future, and
that's good.
Yeah, man, we're still doing, building with, my business partners that I've been blessed to go to school with the marketing company and real estate, you know what I mean? So we just listen. I look at it in James where he says, he talks about the two individuals, and they're like, one says, "Hey man, we're about to go to this city and make a lot of money," and he's like, the other one's like, "Slow down, like, hey, let's not say that."
Right.
Let's say, hold on, if it's in the grace and the will of God, then that's what we'll do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's where I'm at.
That's
you know what
good.
I mean? Everything that I do, listen, I'm going to put some effort in because I need the Lord to bless some action.
And He will.
And He will.
He will
But,
do just that.
Just really just being conscious and waiting on the Lord, you know what I mean, on these different steps and
That's
these new
good.
endeavors that I'm making, you know what I mean? And, just filling in that space will work.
So do you have a particular date or when you're trying to launch your candles?
Yeah, we'll be launching before the summer here, before July.
Okay.
All right, July is my birthday month, right?
Nice,
It's the summertime
too.
too.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, it's our birthday month. So we'll be looking to launch here before the birthday month here, and stay tuned, right? Because you guys are going to see a lot of different things, a lot of promotion in the next few months here, right? And some things that we're getting ready to do. So stay in tune. Brown Candle Company. We got some great things in store.
That's awesome. You know what, nephew? Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time finally get you on here for this real talk. Real change.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I really enjoyed the conversation and just the realness. You know what I'm saying? Just the realness, and because that's what it's all about.
That's a fact.
Keeping it real with people, letting them know this is how it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you taking the time to do that with me today. I don't want y'all to think that we ignore your comments, because I don't. I just try not to answer them while he's talking, or any of my guests, because I try to stay focused. I want to stay focused so I can hear what they're saying at the same time, But I do see some people on here that has been on here left comments. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I know he does. I see somebody, Darnell. You know Darnell?
Oh yeah, Darnell.
Darnell said he needs some candles.
Got you, bro. You already know.
ASAP.
Yup. Special order for you,
He
man.
said
You're going to VIP. Who else is on here? Yep.
Joshua. Hey, Joshua, your brother. He said,
Yes.
Great conversation. Hey, Josh.
Love you, little brother. Love you, King. You already know.
Hey, Maya. I see you, Maya. Like I said, I don't always shout out to people at the time, because I don't want to lose focus, and I try to just stay focused.
No, for real. You definitely stay
Because as
focused.
soon as you start trying to talk to everybody, then you just kind of lose focus, and that's something I don't want to do. So
Nah, this has been a great time. Like
Yes.
I said, I love this platform, Auntie.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
being
Thank
on
you.
here.
I give
and
God the glory. Yes.
we give God the glory for a fact.
yeah, so thank y'all so much for joining. Oh, there go your mom. Not your mom. You gonna have to watch the replay, sister. Your mom watching. She watching. Hopefully she was already on here, but if not, you gotta watch the replay.
Yes, didn't catch the replay, right? Yep.
So, she did. Great job, son. Stay focused. That's what she said.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much again. And I'm on here every Monday, 7 p.m. If I'm not on Facebook Live, then I do TikTok. It just all depends on where my guest is and, what platform I decide to go on with them. So, again, I appreciate you all. Thank you again for joining us. Have a blessed evening, and I will see you guys soon. Love you all. God bless.
Easy.